Hello and welcome to The Print. This is Akanksha Mishra and you're watching Scientifix, where I will be taking you through this week's top science news from across the world. Our first story today is about a new study by French scientists that can help identify real and fake art pieces using just photographs. The method uses fractal analysis and converts the photograph of a painting into a three-dimensional topographical map. This map is then used to recognize the microscopic texture of a painting, including the brush strokes and the hand movements of the painter. Instead of using carbon dating or X-ray analysis, it will now be much easier to detect a forged classic painting. The scientists tested the method by using it on the original paintings of Van Gogh, including the Plowman, and they successfully identified the forged versions of it. Each famous painter, be it Leonardo da Vinci, Van Gogh, or Picasso, has their own unique painting style, which can be identified as their morphological signature. This new non-invasive method can help detect this painting style to identify whether an art piece is real or forged. And according to the study, it can be used by museum curators, art collectors, and even auction houses. Next up, scientists in South Korea have recreated a rare, centuries old sea silk, a golden colored fabric worn by emperors and kings around the world. This silk was made from the fibers of the Pinna nobilis clam, which is an endangered Mediterranean sea animal, and it was golden in color, which is why it was called the golden fabric. The oldest records of this fabric being used date back to the Middle Ages, and it's even mentioned in the clothes worn by Roman emperors and Egyptian pharaohs. However, since the clam is now endangered, this sea silk is no longer produced. But the scientists from the Pohang University of Science and Technology have now used the fibers from a Korean shellfish to recreate this silk. The fibers were similar in structure to Pinna nobilis, and the scientists in the process of making it also discovered that the golden color is not because of a pigment or a dye, but is a product of microscopic protein structures called photonins, which means that the color won't fade for centuries. This new method could now help create durable dye-free textiles and also make a luxury product more accessible. Next up, weeks after the successful Artemis 2 mission, NASA has outlined its plans for Artemis 3, which is scheduled for 2027, and it will be a test flight for important technologies that will be used in Artemis 4, the eventual lunar landing mission. The mission will send the Orion spacecraft and four astronauts into the Earth's orbit, where they will conduct the first ever docking tests between Orion and lunar lander prototypes that are being developed by Blue Origin and SpaceX. NASA named American astronaut Randy Bresnik as commander, European astronaut Luca Parmitano as pilot, and Andre Douglas and Frank Rubio as mission specialists. Parmitano's selection marks the first time that a European Space Agency astronaut has been assigned to an Artemis mission. The crew will spend about 2 weeks in space, carrying out rendezvous and docking operations with test lunar landers before returning to Earth. NASA says that this mission will help prepare for future crewed expeditions to the moon and eventually to Mars, while advancing international cooperation and commercial spaceflight abilities. Finally, our last story is based on research from Germany, where scientists analyzed how melting glaciers is leading to an increasing number of icebergs in the Arctic Ocean. However, this is unexpectedly good news for marine biodiversity. Many of the icebergs now carry large amounts of rock and sediment picked up from glaciers in Greenland and the Russian Arctic. As the icebergs melt, these stones fall to the seafloor and they create new hard surfaces where animals such as sponges and sea anemones can settle. By analyzing 4 decades of observations from the research icebreaker Polar Stern, the team found that iceberg numbers in the Fram Strait have risen sharply, especially since the early 2000s. The loss of sea ice and, in general, global warming has led these icebergs to travel faster and melt sooner too. But even as they boost biodiversity in the sea, they do pose risks to shipping, tourism, and fishing or any other human activity in the Arctic. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning into The Print.